Hello students, let's continue our chapter 6, World After 1945. Yes students, yesterday we studied about the partition and unification of Germany. Today we are going to study about the disintegration of Soviet Union. I suppose yesterday's questions which I had told you, you have learned by heart. Let's continue disintegration of Soviet Union. During the last decade of the 20th century, Soviet Union's Prime Minister Mikhail Gorbachev's liberal policy led to the disintegration of Soviet Union. Students underline Soviet Union's Prime Minister Mikhail Gorbachev. So, students, what is that? During the last decades of the 20th century, so that is, we are talking about from 1990 onwards or 89 to 99, 2000, okay. So, Soviet Union's Prime Minister, what is the name of the Soviet Union's Prime Minister? Who was he that time? Mikhail Gorbachev. His liberal policy led to the disintegration of Soviet Union. How? Peaceful disintegration of Soviet Union is considered as epoch-making in the international policies. Mikhail Gorbachev became the Prime Minister from a socialistic side on 11th March 1989. He had a liberal attitude. Russia had progressed tremendously in the field of science and technology. They also had acquired capability to compete with superpowers like America. So students, what we are seeing over here what we had seen in the previous lecture, the two power blocks and the struggle that goes on between them. We also have seen about the Cold War among them. But now what? The peaceful disintegration of the Soviet Union has become underlined, epoch-making in the international politics. People remember something that is noteworthy. And what is that? Mikhail Gorbachev has, the Prime Minister who had become then, he's from a socialistic side on 11th March 1989. Okay? So, why? He had a liberal attitude. Russia had progressed tremendously, very quickly. And how? In the field of science and technology, underline that. They also had acquired capability to compete with the superpowers like America. So, you know that in the Cold War and all, we also have seen how America has been overruling or has been having that attitude of superpower. And so, now once again, this Russia is able to have this type of attitude towards America and compete with America. Why? In the field of science and technology, it has progressed tremendously, and that is why it is able to compete with superpowers like America. Gorbachev adopted two policies, glasnost and perestroika. Underline that, perestroika. So, in this way, Gorbachev introduced economic and political reforms in the place of single-handed communist rule. The stronghold of Communist Party, the Soviet bureaucracy and Red Army started weakening. So what happened? Gorbachev had adopted two policies which are the underline these two policies, glasnost and perestroika. Underline this, glasnost and perestroika. In this way, what happened? Gorbachev introduced economic and political reforms. Underline economic and political reforms in the place of single-handed communist rule. The stronghold of Communist Party, the Soviet bureaucracy and Red Army started weakening. Yesterday we saw about the Red Army and the Federal and Democratic Party and all. So students, I am not going to repeat that, but that has started weakening. Then, in 1990, process of disintegration of the Soviet Union began. In underline 1990, the process of disintegration of Soviet Union had started. Towards the end of 15 states, towards the end, by that 1990, towards the end, out of 15 states, 14 states became independent and disintegration of union came to an end. So in 1991, towards the end of 1990 and the beginning of 1991, what happened, students? Out of 15 states, 14 states became independent and disintegration of Soviet Union came to an end in December 1991. So that is about the disintegration of Soviet Union. It will be asked for 2 marks. So just read it. We know Mikhail Gorbachev's liberal policies had led to the disintegration of the Soviet Union. And he also has adopted 2 policies, which are there, Glasnost and Perestroika. He introduced economic and political reforms in the place of single-handed communist rule, where the stronghold of Communist Party, the Soviet bureaucracy and Red Army started weakening. Okay, now let's see the next point. What is it? India's contribution at the international level. What has and how has India has contributed on the international level? Okay, so India has contributed significantly at the international level during its freedom struggle and after its independence. So students, what? India has contributed significantly at the international level during its freedom struggle and after its independence. So not only during the freedom struggle, but even after gaining the freedom also, India has not stopped contributing towards the other nations or on the international level. India has always opposed imperialism, underline that, imperialism, colonialism and evils like racial discrimination. India was never for imperialism, colonialism and evils like racial discrimination, because India knew what it means to be, because before independence we were under the rule of Britishers. You know what and how we were oppressed. So India never supported this imperialism, colonialism and evil like racial discrimination. It has supported movements opposing such evils. It has supported movements opposing such evils. India has always remained active in the formation of the United Nations and is actively involved in all activities. India has always remained active in the formation of the United Nations and actively involved in all the activities. So underline that or make a bracket. India has always remained active. See students, the word active in the formation of United Nations, and also has actively involved in all its activities. India has played an important role by sending its military to support United Nations efforts in maintaining international peace and security. Make a bracket. Not only that India just supported in any other ways, but by specifically mentioned over here, by sending its military support. Underline that, military support. The United Nations efforts for what? For maintaining international peace and security. India has worked appreciably by sending military troops to countries like, underline, Gaza, Cyprus, Congo and Sri Lanka during their conflicts. So we are talking India's contribution at the international level, not only for the United Nations, or has not only helped United Nations to form, but also in order to maintain international peace and security, India has given some contribution, and that is by sending the military troops. Also has sent the military troops to different countries like Gaza, Cyprus, Congo and Sri Lanka. India has helped actively in maintaining peace. India has persistently emphasized on the need of disarmament to achieve world peace and security. Underline, India has persistently emphasized on what? On the need of disarmament to achieve world peace and security. This is something important, students. We the Indians are not for arms and armaments, weapons, fight, but going towards the peace and security. In this issue, it has taken leadership in debates world around and in making useful suggestions. India has expressed the desire of entire humanity for peace by presenting a proposal for total nuclear disarmament in the United Nations General Assembly. Make a bracket. India has expressed the desire of the entire humanity for peace. But how? By presenting a proposal for total nuclear disarmament in the United Nations General Assembly. So, when they had the assembly, they had a meeting, the United Nations General Council over there, assembly, that is the time India clearly said that we are working for the human, in order to keep the humanism and for the entire humanity to maintain peace. But how? By suggesting a proposal of what? Nuclear disarmament. Okay? We did not want to have this nuclear weapons and all. To spend the money in the upliftment of poor people in other countries instead of using money in creation of nuclear weapon, and military has always been a demand from India in the United Nations. So in the United Nations, whenever they need anything, any help for the military, surely and certainly they will demand. Okay, and to spend the money in the upliftment of the poor in the other countries instead of using money in creation of nuclear weapon, also India has been supporting. World peace has permanently remained India's primary concern for its foreign policy. World peace has permanently remained India's primary concern. That is, the prime importance is given for what? World peace. India has always remained active to achieve an atmosphere of cooperation underlying cooperation, trust and understanding among nations. So you can see where India stands at the international level. First and foremost, India does not support, or India always opposes imperialism, colonialism and evils like racial discrimination. And that is not only during the freedom struggle, but even after the independence also India continues that. Also, we do not support the armaments. We completely ban, or we show our opposition towards it. India also has helped United Nations to maintain peace and security by sending the military troops, but not only to United Nations but also in the countries like Gaza, Cyprus, Congo and Sri Lanka. We saw it over here. Also, India has helped actively in maintaining peace. Then we saw, in order to maintain peace, they are ready to help, but not wasting money on nuclear weapons, but upliftment of the poor. And in that way, India has been supporting. Indian military troops have been always demand in this United Nations. That way, India has achieved an atmosphere of cooperation, trust and understanding among nations. 2 marks question, students, you will have to remember. Now let's see India's relationship with the other countries. India's relations with other countries. First and foremost, India's relation between India and United States. How is the relationship between India and the United States, US? Now, both India and the United States are democratic countries. Just like India is a democratic country, and so United States also. Apart from having lot of similarities, there has been lot of ups and downs in relationship also. So apart from having a lot of similarity, though we are also democratic country and they are also, and there have been many similarities, there also have been lot of ups and downs. There have been difficulties, misunderstandings in maintaining the relationship. And what is that? The United States did not like India's role of not joining any power bloc and accepting non-aligned policy after its independence. So what is the first and the foremost thing? it did not appreciate that India remains neutral, neither joining Russia nor America. We have seen this power block, two superpowers, but what had India accepted? India had accepted the non-aligned policy. We have seen that chapter. We have done that topic in this same chapter. Okay, so this non-aligned treaty or non-aligned policy was something that saddened the United States. Further, they hoped that India would join them, but India joined non-aligned movement for its economic growth. You know, we have studied and we know very well that India preferred having the economic upliftment of the people rather than wasting money in these nuclear weapons or by joining any of the superpowers. Okay, then there is another reason that amicable relation between India and US could not grow. So that is another reason for which the kind and friendly relationship between India and US could not grow. That is US policy of favoring Pakistan, and that is why this America or US started supporting Pakistan. They supported Pakistan in the case of Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan had joined US-led power and military bloc, whereas India has adopted policy of non-alignment. So see students, India did not join, so US was not ready to support support India, but whereas US has supported Pakistan. Why? Because they had joined in this treaty or call it as a power block to superpowers in that they had taken the part of America, and so therefore America supports Pakistan in case of Jammu and Kashmir. But what happens? See this, whereas India has adopted a policy of non-alignment, we continued whether America supports us or no, we continued with a non-aligned movement. Then treaties regarding nuclear weapons have become one of the most important points of disagreement between India and United States. So that is what nuclear weapons, as I had told you, we also studied. So disagreement to this, and that has happened or that has caused United States not to have very amicable relationship with India. United States has persisted that India should sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Underline the students, Nuclear Non-Proliferation or Proliferation Treaty and Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. Underline these two and make a bracket to that sentence. United States has persisted that India should sign what? Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. When India conducted nuclear tests in Pokhran in Rajasthan in 1998, students, you were not born also, but your parents will remember that India had conducted a nuclear test in Pokhran, that is in Rajasthan, and it was in 1998. It was taken seriously and certain sanctions were imposed against India as US aided financially and technically. So there US had supported financially and technically, but some sanctions were imposed against India. And then there is a remarkable change in relations between both countries after terrorist attack on New York's World Trade Center in September 11, 2001. Make a bracket. There is a remarkable change in relationship when students. Some change was seen and that change had been a good change. But what is that? After the terrorist attack on New York's World Trade Center on 11 September 2001, United States is now accepting the fact that India is growing economically very fast. So now the United States is accepting the fact that India is really growing economically, and at that time India had taken the stand of neutral by not supporting nuclear weapons, and so India was right in that. Okay, both the countries wish that there should be intimate relationship with each other. So both the countries desire, they wish that they should have good relationship. Okay, then In September 2014-15, India's Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi visited America and even addressed the United Nations. So in 2014 and 15, Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi visited America. Okay, who was the president at that time? American President Barack Obama was the first American president to be the chief guest for India's 66th Republic Day celebration. So you see, students, in September 14-15, our Prime Minister had visited America and the president was Barack Obama at that time, and American President Barack Obama also had visited India for the celebration of the Republic Day, and it was a 66th Republic Day. Okay, and he was invited, Barack Obama was invited as a chief guest. In this way, America and India now has a cordial and amicable relation. So in that way, America and India has a good relationship now. The issue of terrorism and concerns of the heads of the country. So the issue of terrorism are concerns of the heads of the country. Both the countries, America and India, have been thinking or talking about the terrorism not only in India or United States, but in all over in the world. Now, relation between India and Soviet Union, that is Russia. Now we saw about the India's relationship with America or US. Now we are going to study about India's relationship with Soviet Union, that is Russia. This is also asked for both the questions, India's relation with US and with Soviet Union. If both are asked, then it is 3 marks question. If only one is asked, then it will be 2 marks. Either India's relation with United States or India's relation with Soviet Union. So now let's see India's relation with Soviet Union. The Soviet Union has helped India considerably in establishing heavy and key industries. So Soviet Union did not stop having good relationship with India, even though India had not supported with these two superpowers at that time. But Russia was okay with that. So the Soviet Union has helped India considerably in establishing heavy and key industries. The Soviet Union has taken India's side in the issue of Jammu Kashmir. The Soviet Union has taken India's side in issues of Jammu and Kashmir. Russia has been supporting us. They also have often exercised their veto power in United Nations Security Council to see that proposals against India pertaining to Jammu and Kashmir issues should not pass. In this way, Russia and India has a very close friendly relation. So see that Soviet Union, that is Russia, make sure that they use their veto power in order to maintain peace and make sure that the proposal against India pertaining Jammu and Kashmir is not issued. In that case, or it is not passed, and in that case, Russia is supporting India very much, and the relationship has been very cordial, very nice, very friendly. Okay. Now, tomorrow we are going to study about 4 marks question, and that is India's relation with its neighboring countries. That question is always asked for 4 marks, so therefore I am keeping that entire question for tomorrow. Have a good day. I am going to stop over here. Study all these points which we did, especially India's relation with its America and Russia, or with United States and Soviet Union. Also India's contribution at the international level and disintegration of Soviet Union. Remember the points and study at home. Have a good day.